Welcome to a very special episode of the TIG Experience. I am your host, TIG. This is a very special episode because this happens to be the very first episode of my new TIG Experience show. I am in the house all by myself. It is a very rare experience in which I get to be home, probably for a majority of the day, all by myself. Now, it's rare that I have these occasions, but throughout the recent years, it's becoming more and more recent, which I do appreciate. You know, I don't really have the luxury of doing whatever I want in the house. I think most husbands have this dilemma. And when we do have time to ourselves in the house, and we can do whatever we want, sometimes it's hard to think about what we can do. If you're someone like me who's creative, who likes to perform, who likes to write, likes to read, you know, every minute of the day you're probably thinking about, I need to act, I need to write music, I need to do this, I need to do that, I want to read this book. And then you have a free weekend and you have time to write. You have time to read that book. You have time to watch a movie. And then you just end up not doing those things. But, you know, so I just started thinking, maybe there's all kinds of random things that I can do that I would never be able to do. Ever. Well, without being ridiculed or anything like that. So I can dress up as Batman and run around the house. Or a Jedi. Or better yet, Batman as a Jedi. I can go wherever I want, whenever I want, without being asked, where are you going? When are you going to be back? I can sing some of my favorite tunes in the car while I'm driving. And if I don't know the words or can't hit the notes, I'll just lip sync. And then I don't have to worry about someone texting me or calling me, asking me where I am, when I'm going to be back. Husbands, fathers, I think you understand me, right? Wives, mothers, give the guy some space. Let him go do what he needs to do, what he wants to do. I could take however long I want to groom before I head out. Maybe even accessorize a bit. You know, match things up without being in a hurry that I have to get dressed to go somewhere because you're rushing me that we have to leave in 5 minutes and then I'm ready in 2, but then you take 10 minutes to get ready and I'm sitting on the couch looking at my watch, ready to go. So what am I going to do with myself today? I don't know. So being in the house all by myself is very rare. First part in the morning on the weekends, they sleep in for some odd reason. I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. That's just my internal clock. Wake me up. I'm a teacher, so I wake up, you know, during the school year at 6 or 6:30 anyway. But now my body's like 6 o'clock. You're awake. Great. I have a couple hours to myself in the morning, so you know I am alone. But I'm alone when they're here, and that's a lot different from being completely alone. Because when I'm alone and they're here, I have to minimize the noise. You know, TV can't be too loud because I don't want to disturb them. Or my music can't be too loud because I don't want to disturb them. Probably shouldn't be whirling my lightsaber around because I might hit something. So, you know, gotta be careful. Running around the house causes commotion. Mrs. Tig is like, what the heck are you doing? Or whatever. So, being alone is completely different. Oh, you probably noticed. For some odd reason, it's a Batman theme today. Got a Christmas Batman and Robin. It's not Christmas. It's actually August. So, you know, I don't know what to tell you about that. One of the great things that we did last night is we had a family movie night, which is something we don't really do very much. We just end up watching movies, and people, Midge will join, and or Rue will join sometimes halfway through the movie, and Mrs. Tig will be elsewhere if she doesn't like the movie that I'm watching. Yesterday they were watching Pride and Prejudice, the Keira Knightley version. I like all kinds of movies as an actor, as a writer, as a director. We had a family movie night. This is when I say, hey, you want to watch a movie? Yeah. And it happened to be Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. That's right. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And I have very good, fond memories of that movie, watching it with my older brother, who's only a year and 2 months older than me, and we watched it all the time. I mean, all the time. And so it's a really great movie. And when Mrs. Tig and I got married, one of the wedding gifts that we received not only was a DVD player, which I specifically asked for from my father. A little bit of a tangent. The morning of the wedding, I had to go to Target to get something. I don't remember exactly what it was. I think it was a registry, a guest book. My father and I think my mother and one of my siblings were also there at the same time. That we got there at the same time, just happened to be by accident. And he goes, okay, so I have your registry. What is it you want on this, from this list? And because I love movies, and a little selfish, I said, the DVD player. He said, okay. So I got the DVD player, and then my brother got me the DVD of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure as a wedding gift. A lot of fond memories for it. I knew Midge and Rue were going to enjoy the movie. Rue even said that she enjoyed it better than Back to the Future. And I said, if you just accept the fact that this movie is going to be ridiculous, it's highly enjoyable. And she says, oh yeah, I know. I mean, it was like ridiculous from the start, and I'm loving it. I think what she really enjoys the fact that there's really no real science behind this time travel and the quirkiness behind it. What if we just go back to the past and drop this right here, so by the time we got here, we'll have the keys. Oh, here it is. It was really nice to share these kinds of movies, and we share these kinds of movies all the time. But they like the Goonies, they love Spaceballs, they love Star Wars, especially the Mandalorian. Mandalorian, man. Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters, they love The Breakfast Club, especially Midge. They love it. But I got this whole house to myself. I got to figure out what I'm going to do. I got to figure out what movie I'm going to watch. I got to figure out what kind of crazy things I could do to that would probably get myself in trouble. Maybe I'll just take one of the dogs and just twirl them around or throw them on the couch. They seem to love it. They do. I think. Maybe. Okay, maybe not. But it's fun for me, but I got a bad bag, so I probably shouldn't do it anyway. So I decided to watch a movie that would be appropriate for this time alone in this house. And if you guessed Home Alone, you would be wrong. Yeah. Never mind the Christmas tree in the background, and which seems to be in sync with my Christmas Batman shirt. Now, Home Alone would actually make sense if you were to take into account the Christmas tree and the Batman Christmas, considering Home Alone takes place around Christmas. But no. Instead, I am watching A Quiet Place. A Quiet Place, directed by John Krasinski, which I think was brilliantly directed and co-written, and also starring his wife and my fantasy wife, Emily Blunt. So I'm going to watch that. I picked up some lunch. I'm going to watch it, and I'll see you right afterwards. The movie did a lot of things right. It was, I think, brilliantly directed. It's, the movie itself, at its core, is not an original concept. It's a monster movie. But At the same time, it focuses around the family. So it's really a family movie and how they are surviving in this random, I guess you could say, alien invasion or creature um, infestation or whatever. We don't get a lot of backstory. The main idea, at least from the father, is trying to solve, in some part, a way for them to survive, to stay alive. It's just really well done. Suspenseful from the start. Makes you wonder what is happening. You're discovering things almost as he's researching, but he does very little research actually. What he's really doing is trying to get a hold of anybody else who might be, I guess, alive out there. We know that there are people alive out there because when he lights the fire, we see other fires being lit. Like a signal that there's survivors out there and that they're okay. You kind of almost have to freeze frame the I'm going to say whiteboard of those newspaper clippings and what he's been writing down to have a real good sense of what it is what he has been researching. And of course, throughout most of it, he's trying to fix the hearing device for his daughter. The other interesting thing is I really didn't notice it till the end. And I think I noticed it the first time too, is that you don't hear them or read any of their names. What are the names of the characters? They don't mention their names. Now, realistically, in a family environment with only 4 people and you're using sign language, you don't need to say their names. You're speaking right to them, okay? Saying names in a script is basically a literary device to remind people the names of characters. Most of us in our families use nicknames, or we walk up straight to the person to start talking. You know you are talking to them and they know you are talking to them. So saying names is probably almost habit, if anything else. And I can imagine working at a movie theater when that movie came out, since that movie is silent. I can imagine the audience looking back at the booth. Can't hear it. The sound's off. Is it working? I can imagine that. And I can imagine the person up in the booth checking to see if the sound is working, but of course, there's nothing to hear. It's funny. I think people, movie theaters, I think they had to put out a notice either on the website or put a paper notice on the door saying that the majority of the movie is silent, so be prepared for that, because you will get people complaining that they couldn't hear anything. You have to tell them, well, it's meant to be that way. It's silent. It reminds me also, last year during school, I heard that the trailer or the teaser for Quiet Place 2 was released. During class time, I went to the computer while they were working and I popped it up real quick. And when I had a moment of them doing work after I stopped teaching them, I pushed play. And the volume on my computer is always off, so they don't hear the ding of the emails and things. Or if I go to a website and the video starts playing and disrupts whatever they're doing. And I remember thinking when the trailer first started playing, and halfway through I was thinking, maybe I should have waited till they're done so I can hear the trailer. And then I realized it doesn't matter. That the teaser was probably silent because it's called A Quiet Place. So I realized that after the fact. I'm like, oh, it probably doesn't matter because it's probably silent all the way through. And I think it was think it was silent all the way through, and I can't wait for that movie. I'm disappointed that it got pushed out, but of course also glad because this whole pandemic thing messed up a lot of things. So a lot of good movies we should have had out got pushed out or is available now for streaming. Anyway, I really enjoyed A Quiet Place, and the ending is, I think it's a brilliant ending. It does leave off a bit of a cliffhanger, but not in a cliffhanger where there needs to be a sequel. It's a cliffhanger as in you don't see what happens next. You don't really get a conclusion. What you do get is a sense of optimism when you turn it off or when you leave the theater. It ends in such a way where they're still going to be surrounded by these creatures, but now they have a way to fight back. And it's a very strong, powerful ending. You don't need to see what happens next. You just know they're going to be okay. When Emily Blunt cocks that shotgun at the end with that confident, I'm not going to say smile, she's not like, it's more like a, let's do this. To the daughter, after they figured out the sound, the sonic sound, and amplifying it, and it distorts them and hurts them and possibly kills them. And the creatures on the camera are running into the house because of the noise. They're going to be okay as long as they have enough shotguns. And it's a very empowering moment at the end. It's a good way to end it. We don't need to see them fight their way out of the house. Matter of fact, they probably don't even need to leave the house. Although in Quiet Place 2, they do, for whatever reason, don't know. Maybe they just feel like they have to move on. But it's a really good movie. It's a really good ending. I enjoyed it while it lasted. And the family came home 5 minutes from the movie ending. So it was good while it lasted. And I really had nothing to do after that anyway. So it was good timing for them to be home. It's not like I was going to go run around the living room as Batman again. But it's a really good movie. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. I think it's well done, well paced, and I can't wait for the sequel. So, thank you for joining me today on the TIG Experience, the first TIG Experience. Like and subscribe, tell a friend. I have many of these more planned. Hopefully I get to talk about a lot of different things, and hopefully these are things that would interest you, and hopefully I can pinpoint the things that would interest the audience to talk about those things, to share more about who I am, my life, what I like to do, what I'm all about, what thoughts are in my head, and share some of my work and my talents as well. So thank you for watching the TIG Experience, and we'll talk to you next time.